Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, I wish I could join you in person today at this gathering of the W20, but I am pleased to be able to speak to you by video this time. This past year, the W20 has made strong arguments in favor of women's meaningful participation in their economies and societies. As UN Secretary General Special Advocate for Inclusive Finance for Development, since 2009, I've been working on how we can bring women fully into the economy so that we can drive growth and achieve greater equality. We are at a critical moment. Political leaders at the highest levels have pledged to invest in the economic development of women. Much has been written, of course, about this issue, including the recommendations from the W20. But the issue is, how do we translate these good intentions into concrete actions that can transform women's lives? What fundamental tools have to be in place for countries to really make progress? These specifics will be very different from one country to the other. But there are several priorities that warrant every country's attention. The first one involves women financial inclusion. To empower women economically and build a world where they can thrive as workers and entrepreneurs, we need a gender-inclusive financial system. Access to financial services is essential, allowing people to launch businesses, save money, and improve really their families' lives. But too many women today are shut out of the system entirely. About 108 million women around the world even have the most basic account. In particular, represents really a major opportunity. According to the IFC, the total financing gap for female small business owners in emerging countries is $1.7 trillion. $1.7 trillion, an extraordinary amount. Women today own a third of micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises in developing markets. These entrepreneurs could really greatly benefit from credits, savings, insurance, and other services, but are today unable to get it. Another effective mechanism is sending government benefit payments for households, especially directly to women-owned accounts, in order to empower and give them more control over the family finances. That's a very good example, for example, done in India today. My second point concerns data. In order to create policies and plans that can really make a difference for women, governments and businesses need to collect gender disaggregated data. Without data, how can we know where the gaps are? How can we design ways to close these gaps? And of course, how can we measure progress? Surprisingly, today, few governments and companies are currently collecting this gender disaggregated data. For example, IMF found that in most economies, gender disaggregated data, financial data, are not available. However, I am seeing some hopeful signs that the tide is turning. Countries like India and Egypt are joining leaders such as Chile and Mexico, which have led the charge for gender disaggregated data. But this is really just the beginning. We really have to get more countries following this great example. A third priority for every country is digital inclusion. Knowing how to use computers, smartphones, and other digital devices is a crucial skill for today's world. But 390 million women worldwide are still not connected to the internet. Many of them because they don't know how to use it. In addition, 184 million fewer women than men own a mobile phone. That represents a gap of 10%, something we need to close. This means that they cannot access digital financial services, which are key to financial inclusion, especially in rural areas. Women's digital access and literacy must be at the top of the development agenda. I was pleased to see that these three priorities, therefore, women's financial inclusion, gender disaggregated data, and digital inclusion are all emphasized in the W20's draft communiqué. And these goals, ladies and gentlemen, can be achieved. But the issue is, how do we deliver on the recommendations we've laid out? The G20 countries have signaled that they are committed to women economic empowerment, but now is the time to move from commitment into action, to really hold member countries accountable for the promises they have made. There must be a mechanism for tracking progress toward greater economic equality. I'm really eager to hear your views on how such a system can be put in place to track progress, see what countries are doing, and I'm really standing ready to support your very good work. I thank you for your excellent work, also on behalf of all those women around the world that I visit and I have the luxury to meet every time and hear the stories. And I look forward to the progress we'll be all together. Thank you very much.
Her Majesty.